Hello everyone, welcome to another video. The biggest Pokémon VGC event just happened. Over 6,000 players. And as expected, people brought some really wild stuff. Everyone talks about the winning team, but honestly, the more interesting part of big tournaments is always the weird teams that almost nobody prepares for. So today, I picked 10 teams that stood out to me. Some are strong meta calls, some are complete anti-meta nonsense, and a few made me stop and go, who let this guy cook? I'm going to go through them quickly, explain what makes each one interesting to me, and most importantly, I will let you pick one of those teams. If one of these teams gets enough support in the comments, that will be my next full gameplay video. If nobody agrees, I already have my eyes on two teams. Either way, someone's gonna get robbed for content. Let's get into it. First team I want to talk about is the Sun Trick Room team. There is a pretty basic core idea here of Uranguru with Instruct with Torkoal, Camerupt with Eruption, that also goes well next to Uranguru, especially under Sound of Torkoal, Hattern as a second Trick Room setter and also a Psychic Terrain abuser. If you look at Uranguru moveset, there is manual Psychic Terrain. What made me click on this team on the first time was the Rampardos. We have seen a lot of Rhyperior in older generations, especially in 2014, Rhyperior with Abomasnow was a really decent Trick Room duo, but Rampardos is kind of a niche pick. On top of the manual Psychic Terrain with Expanding Force Hattern and the Rampardos, you have a Mousehold with King's Rock, so we're trying to cheese people with Population Bomb flinches. Overall, as far as Trick Room teams go, I will give this team an 8 out of 10 on the fun scale. Next team we have is a Tail Room. Basically, Tail Room is a team that uses both Tailwind and Trick Room to support the Pokémon who are in the middling speed tier. Sylveon is a prime suspect for having a middling speed tier, Kangaskhan also. This looks like a team that was built around Sylveon. Like the first 4 Pokémon here with Sylveon, Sinistcha, Incineroar and Zymeko feel like the first idea. And then we slap a Dactyl Kangaskhan for matchups that this 4-man core can't defeat. In general, the sets are nothing crazy, but I really like the idea. I will give this a 6 out of 10 on the fun scale. Next team. This is a Mega Venusaur team with Blizzard for weather control, a support Blastoise that I really like in this meta, Kingambit, Farigiraf for Trick Room, and Choice Scarf Kleavor. I really like Kleavor in this meta. Stone Axe feels really nice, both to click into, let's say, Charizard, and the after effect of getting rocks up on the field, which breaks sasses. Stealth Rock right now, besides breaking sasses, is pretty potent into some teams. Charizard doesn't want to switch in your Stealth Rock, Volcarona, Talonflame doesn't want to do that either, Ninetales, Frostlass, Delphox, Incineroar. There are many Pokémon who do not appreciate Stealth Rocks being up. So I really like the whole idea of Kleavor, Blastoise, Venusaur. I'm gonna give this team a 7 out of 10 on the fun scale. Next team. We have another Kleavor team. I really like Kleavor. I am not sure about that Quick Claw. It could be Choice Scarf, as the previous team. It could also be Focus Sash, but the Focus Sash here is on the Basculegion. We are seeing the rise of Basculegion into Citrus and Focus Sash more and more every day. We have what I assume a bulky Rotom with leftovers with Electroweb for speed control, but I would like to see Will-O-Wisp in this team. The rest of the sets are nothing crazy, so I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 on the fun scale. Now this team actually is really interesting to me, because a week ago we did a flat video with 6 or 7 different flat teams. If you take a look here, we had this team with Paldean Tauros, Aegislash, Scizor and stuff like that, a different team with Talonflame and Tsarina, and a different team with Whimsicott, Typhlosion, Aegislash, Flight and stuff like that. So it feels like someone took all those ideas and made them keys, and they created this Floette Whimsicott Tsarina team with Aqua Tauros and the Psychic Fangs Dragapult to kill Sneasler's. So I'm really happy for the creator of the team to do pretty decent on the tournament, and I really like this team. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 on the fun scale. Following the Whimsicott Tsarina theme, here we have Whimsicott with Cerulege, Mega Blastoise, Focus Sash Glimmora, Choice Scarf Tsarina, and a pretty basic Dragonite. If you've been following my videos, this exact Tsarina set is the one I've been using, and I'm really enjoying the Zen Headbutt Choice Scarf against Sneasler's. Glimmora is really nice in this meta, especially if you expect a lot of Milotics. It is kinda niche, but it has a pretty nice niche. What's really interesting to me is the Ceruleads with Bitterblade, Shadow Sneak, Will-O-Wisp, Protect, Flashfire and Charcoal. So it's not a focus us with a weak armor or Surge Dance, it is most likely a bulky Will-O-Wisp supporter. And what we're trying to support is the Blastoise, with Water Spout, Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse and Protect. I really like this team and I really like the idea behind of these creative choices of sets, so I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 on the fun scale. Okay, next team. Here we have Ceruleads with Mega Lopunny, Farigiraf, Rotom-Woos, Como and Sneasler. If I had to guess the sets for this team, everything is probably 32-32 besides the Farigiraf. The Farigiraf here is used as an Imprison to Trick Room, Twin Beam to break sashes on Sneasler, and Hyper Voice as a generic chip. The rest of the team tries to go as fast as possible. You have Focus Sash, Weak Armor, Short Dance, Ceruleads, with Shadow Sneak on top of that, trying to go as fast as possible and hit as hard as possible. Lopunny, Fake Out, Triple Axel, Mach Punch, Close Combat, same concept, hit fast, hit hard. Rotom-Woos, Choice Scarf, Electro Web for speed control, you can guess 32-32. Como, Draco Meteor, Clanking Scales, Aura Sphere with Dragon Fang. Abusing the Fake Out on the Electro Webs tries to hit as hard and as fast as possible. Sneasler with White Herb, Unburden and Faint, trying to deny the Protect so the rest of your team can actually deal damage. The whole concept is be frail, hit hard, be fast, deny Protects, deny Trick Room, and in general it feels like a high octane team. If fast is what you find fun, this team is like a 10 out of 10. For me, it's probably a 7 out of 10, but if the team is using Mega Lopunny and Ceruleads, I'm sold. Now we walk into Mega Scizor territory. If there is anything I gathered from this tournament, is that both the win rate and the conversion rate of Scizor was really good. There wasn't a team with Scizor that made it into the top cut, but a lot of the Scizor teams made it into day 2. Here we have some pretty common sets. There is nothing that you will see and go like, wow, what is this? But I really enjoying using Blastoise as your water Pokemon or your second Mega. Mashold is really good into supporting both Blastoise and Surge Dance Scizor. You have Fake Out to also support the setup. You have Garchomp for the Sun matchup. You have your own weather. You have White Guard, Tailwind. This whole team is really well constructed. A bonus Scizor team that I'm actually really interested in is this one by the creator called Nerd of Now. You can also find him on Twitter. This basically uses a lot of Pokemon that I actually think are really good right now, with both Pelipper and Basculegion, and this is like a Berry adaptability Basculegion. Rotom-Mow with Choice Scarf for the Leaf Storm, Incineroar for the generic support, Como because people figured out that the most threatening Pokemon to Como is Floette, and the best answer to Floette is Scizor. So you have a really good coverage of Rock Paper Scissors here. Nerd of Now did an 11-3 run, which is really awesome. And I believe his last game was lost into a Rotom-Mow Leafstorm miss, so this team has a really big potential. The next team that I want to talk about, which follows the same principle as this team, is this one. Sadly, this team was stopped on its track on day 2, but it looks really interesting to me. You have the same concept of Como being supported by Scizor being really good. You have your Sneasler with a Fake Out to support the setup of both Scizor and Como. You cycle the Sneasler and the Incineroar for more Fake Out pressure and Intimidate. The original set ran Taunt over Roar, but because it's a team that I was testing, I figured that Roar is usually most consistent into stopping Trick Room than Taunt is, because White Herb is a thing and people are kinda using it. The next Pokemon that's really interesting is Alola Ninetales. It serves both as a water Pokemon counter with Freeze Dry. It is an answer to Garchomp because it's faster than it, and it's a different weather setter, so you can play around Sun a bit better. In general, this team for me gets a 9 out of 10 on the fun scale. Now this lovely creation. This team was created by a person called Browser, or Browser, I'm not sure. I couldn't find them on socials, so I had to make my own EVs up, but I think I got a pretty decent grasp of the EVs because I understand what they're trying to do. The only small change I did on the team is adding Flip Turn instead of Muddy Water. The whole concept here is getting a Spather on the field, getting a Speed Boost and a Calm Mind, and button passing the fuck out of it to Floette. The whole team crumbles if you can't do that. To enable this strategy, you have 3 different Fake Outs and 4 different flinches. Here I've put Incineroar next to Blastoise because it's technically the same Pokémon. You're trying to fake out Parting Shot into fake out Flip Turn into fake out Parting Shot and repeat that with Intimidate on top of everything and hope that everything goes well. If you're unsure if that's going to work, you have Sneasler with Fake Out and Flink King's Rock. If you're not familiar, if you use Flink on a King's Rock, you inflict flinch again. Hydreigon is here as a suicide lead. You're using a Focus Sash, trying to get up the Tailwind and then die. If you get to fire off an attack, that's even better. The end goal of all this cheese is to get a Floette that's max hit points, max defense trained, with a Calm Mind boost on special attack and special defense, and with 1 or 2 speed boosts on it. From there you have Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam and Draining Keys to sustain you, and you try to win the game with it. If there is a creative award to go to someone that also worked, it would probably be the Watchdog guy, but this takes the second place for sure. Sadly the team never saw day 2, and usually cheese teams do not make it to day 2, but boy is this fun. For me, this team gets a 10 out of 10 on the fun scale. Anyway, those are the teams for today. Feel free to tell me which team you would like to see in the next video. Otherwise, you can probably guess which 2 teams I'm more interested into. If you've participated on the tournament, please tell me about your experience. Sadly, I missed it because I couldn't register on time, but it looked really fun and a lot of ideas came out of it. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining and I will see you next time.